We're going to run through all of the basics on how to operate a bait dropping drone, and then we're going to do some land-based fishing for big sharks, ideally getting stuck into a bronze whaler or two. Should be a really fun episode, so sit back and enjoy the show. Come on, come this way. Turn him, man.
Oh, there you go. That's the head shake. That's the gaining.
That's all right. Oh, look at those huge splashes. Now, owning a bait dropping drone really does push the capabilities of land-based fishing. Being able to take your baits and drop them way out into deeper waters in those strike zones where those bigger fish are lurking really does open up a world of possibilities. Now, this is a lot safer to do than to paddle out your baits on a kayak, especially if you're going to do this at night targeting sharks. And let's be honest, with fishing growing, all of your piers, your jetties and your rock walls are absolutely jam-packed, especially during those peak times. Okay, so this is a Fisherman MAX FD2 bait dropping drone by SwellPro. So we're going to unbox that now, and together we're going to set this up step by step. So we're going to plug in all of the components, and then what I'm going to do is run through with you the fishing gear that you're going to likely need to have success doing this type of fishing, some of the rigs that you're going to use, and then we're going to do a test flight and drop a bait out. And then what we're going to do is set up and prepare to try and target some big land-based sharks tonight on sundown. Alright, so we just open up this case, and inside there, neatly packed away, is the Fisherman MAX FD2. Take this out, and there's your drone. Alright, simply unfold the arms like that, and again like that. And then all you do is you got these little areas here, and you just screw them into place and lock them in. So one. Make sure they're nice and secure. You've got these clips here, and that really helps with that waterproof sealing. So you get about half an hour run time on each one of these batteries. So you'll see there, the back of the side there basically matches the pins there. So you just got to make sure you put it in the right way. Is you've really got to force it down and then lock these into place. All right, so you can see now they are all locked and in place, and that's going nowhere. So that just helps with that waterproofing. So you've got your propellers in here. You can see it's got the orange symbol on it, and that one there's also got the orange symbol on there. So that just fits into there, and you're just going to anti-clockwise put that in and lock that into place like that. So very simple to do. I'm just doing that with one hand. That is now secure and locked into place. Okay, there we go. So that one there just screws that one in the other way. Alright, so now you've got all four propellers that are rigged and ready to go. So next you've got these antennas here. So these are the antennas that talk to your remote control. So if you're going to keep this low to the water, you can just screw it in like that, or if you're going to fly it a little bit higher, you can just keep it like that and screw it in. So we're going to do that now like that. So one there, and we'll also do this one here. Okay, so really easy to put together once you know what you're doing. All right, and finally, the drone actually comes with floats as well. So for whatever reason, if you happen to crash it in the water, the drone will actually float. So what they do is they give you 4 of these floating arms here, and you can see there's just some clips there. So very simple to put on. All you do basically is you grab these, they go underneath there, they fit into place just like that, and then you just clip them into place. All right, so you can see we've got our 4 floats on there, and they just look just like that. So obviously these are heavy duty and rugged enough that if for whatever reason you happen to splash this in the water, it's not going to sink. And as you can see now, 4 propellers are hooked up, batteries are hooked up, antennas are set, floats are set, and all we're going to do now is power this on and fly it and do a test flight. All right, so let's have a look at the remote control that comes with it. So you can see you've got a nice big LED screen. A bit like the other one, you're just going to lift these antennas up. So obviously these antennas are going to talk to the antenna of the unit that we've just done. And you can see really nice joypad to power that on, which we'll do in a minute. You press it, lift, and then press and hold in for 3 seconds. Okay, so you can see you've got 2 joypads there that you control with. So this one that's going to allow you to go up and down. Okay, and you've got this one which is going to allow you to rotate and go from side to side. When you want to first power on the unit, all you're going to do is you're just going to hold them down like that in for 3 seconds. So we'll do that when we'll power it up. So you'll see you've got 4 toggles here. So you've got 1, 2, and 3 and 4. So this one here is just if you want to do photo and video. So most times I'm going to be recording in 4K, so I'm just going to have that down on the bottom one. Now you need to remember, when you first start off this drone, all the switches need to be in the upright position. So I'll put that one back. The next one is your payload, which is basically your bait dropping area. So this drone has got a metal rod, so that's in the off position now. You do that and the arm moves, and you do that and the second arm moves. And that's basically just how you drop your bait. So what you would do is you'd lift the drone, you'd fly it out to where you want to go. Once you've got your bait in the desired position, you'd basically just drop those down and away you go. So these ones here, 2 settings here, normal and return to home. So when you're flying, you're just going to have that set to normal. What you can do is, if you want to fly it back, you just flick that down and the unit will automatically fly itself back to where it needs to go. So we'll put that back on the normal one. And finally, for the most part, it's really recommended to keep that in GPS mode. So that's why you can easily track your unit. However, if you wanted to cruise and do settings yourself, you can do that. You've also got some settings, and this is how you control the camera. You've got up position and down position. So if you want to film dropping your baits, that's going to be really cool. But that is the remote control configuration. All right, so if we flip this drone around, so obviously here is your 4K camera. And what we did previously is we've just installed an SD card in there, so that's all fitted and ready to go. And here you can see there, that is your bait dropping section there. And you can see there's the little metal rod there that just moves when you press A and B on the remote control. And then you've got your power, which we've done there. So we're ready to power it on now. Okay, and that power's on. All right, so under this part here, you've got the battery, the power button, and again, if you okay, on here I'm just going to do payload down once and twice, and you're going to see this. So let's do that now. You can see that moves, and it moves again. And if we close it back up, when we're going to drop out a bait, we would thread our line through there, and then we'd close it, we'd fly out our drone till we want to go, and then bang, that's what we do. So that's how the bait dropping unit works. Okay, so we're now ready to fly the drone. So all you got to do to get it to take off is you've got to push both these joy pads downwards on an angle in for 3 seconds. So we'll do that.
Aircraft unlocked.
And there we go. There we go. We're going to lift up now and we're going to start flying. We're going to lift up now and we're going to start flying. And there we go, there's our drone flying out to sea. All right, and all I'm doing is that's just making the drone move upwards, and then you've got this control here which basically just flies it in a straight line to where you want to go. So let's put this drone out to sea. So I'm just going to put the video on. Okay, so that's now also recording, and we're going to fly that out even further. All right, so at this stage I've got that drone that's about 400 meters out. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to flick the payload. We're just going to press that payload button, okay, and the camera would show that basically that section has opened up now. So that was a bait that was just going to drop down. Now all we want to do to return this home is basically just flick that switch there that says return to home. So let's do that now.
Return to home.
There we go. On its own, it's already starting to make its way back. The GPS tracking on these things are usually pretty good, so you should find that that should be able to put itself pretty close to where we were. There it comes down. And there you go.
Aircraft locked.
There you go. So that confirms that it's back on the ground. That has set itself off. Okay, so that's the unit now powered off. And for our first test run, that was a real success. Very easy and intuitive to operate. Now, I've run other drones in the past, things like the Mavic Minis that we do all of our B-roll aerial footage with, and they're pretty intuitive. You've got a smartphone app, but honestly with that Joy controller, it was very, very simple. You power on the unit, you attach your bait, you basically fly it up. You've got the joypad that can either go up or straight or turn it into a different direction. You fly it out to the spot you want. You basically do your bait dropping by flicking that switch, and then once you're satisfied with that, you basically flick the dial that says return to home and job done. So these are really big units, and I think at first, and certainly for me, it can be a little bit intimidating and almost a little bit overwhelming. But once you get out here and have a bit of a practice, you realize it's really not that complicated, and you will pick it up nice and quickly. And obviously, if you're going to go and invest in one of these things, which are not cheap, you need to make sure that you've got the right gear that is capable of putting a bait hundreds of meters out. These units are also really good just for dropping standard baits and paternoster rigs for things like snapper and mulloway. And if you live in tropical areas, obviously there's a whole range of fish species that you can target. You're really limited to your imagination. And so we have run you through all the basics of how to operate a bait dropping drone. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head to our spot and go and target a big bronzy. Really, we want to have bronze whalers as our prime target species. They're such a pretty shark and they fight really, really hard. Let's run through some of the gear, and you're going to find what we're using today is I've got two game outfits with me. So this is a Tiagra 30 and I've also got a TLD 25 combo. So there's just a Therese, I think that's a 30 to 60 pound rod that is paired up with this. So now these reels are generally associated with offshore game fishing for species like tuna and marlin, and obviously they come in different sizes. So this is the 30, you can even upgrade to things like the 50s and the 80s. And the main reason why we need these game reels for this type of fishing, which is obviously land-based fishing off the beach with a drone, targeting big sharks, is all about line capacity. So with these, you can spool your reel with anything from about 700 meters of line all the way through to about 1400 meters of line. Set up our rig, and what we're going to be basically using is a pair of snelled size 12 hooks. So very, very large hooks. We're going to be using whole variety baits from salmon, yakkers, mackerel, even stingray makes a great bait. Do is you attach your line, have this in free spool, and then we're going to fly it out. And obviously you need to allow a few hundred meters of line as well, because if we hook up to a big bronzy or gummy or something along those lines, that shark also will likely run a few hundred meters on its own as well. So having that line capacity of a minimum of sort of 700 meters of line is absolutely critical. And we're definitely not mucking around with the gear here. So as I said, this is a Tiagra T30. We've also got the TLD 25. They're both spooled a minimum of 100 pound braid. They've both got about 800 meters of line on the spool. And to finish that off, we have got wire trace, which is about 2 meters long, to two size 12 snelled hooks. Now this style of fishing is definitely out of my comfort zone. This is different to a lot of things I've done, and obviously over the years with Fishing Mad, we've done just about every type of fishing I can think of. So obviously inshore waters, freshwater, estuary, offshore, now drone fishing for big sharks. This is definitely something. So I'm excited and I'm a little bit nervous. So obviously, you know, when you bring a big shark in, handling it, so we're going to have to be very careful. And obviously we do warn with extreme caution. If you are going to do this yourself, you need to be extremely careful. These sharks are very powerful. They've got razor sharp teeth and they can do a lot of damage. So if you're going to do it with someone experienced. I've got a few of my really good mates here today, really good experienced land-based anglers, and we're going to be helping each other out as a team. And we're really looking forward to getting onto, hopefully, a big bronzy. That's our target species, but it may be a 7-gill or a gummy. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully next time we tune in, that reel is a screaming. Alright, so there is our bait. So that is a big chunk of bonito. And there you can see there we've got a size 12 hook there, which is really big exposed. So I mean that bait is as big as some of the fish we're catching sometimes. So
start reeling, yeah. hook up the tail.
That's alright. Oh, you can tell me.
See your tire. Go on the camera.
Alright. Oh.
It's on the floor.
Jesus. There we go. So it's 2 AM at the moment. We just put out a big bait. And we've had a screaming run here. So I don't think this shark is too far away now. So we're just playing him, and I tell you what, this is tiring stuff. Oh, jeez, you can feel that weight. Oh. He's gone way to the right there though, guys.
You want to walk?
Yeah, we're going to have to. Just come with me.
Yeah, so
Oh. He's not done. Here we go, look at this. Worst thing is, it is low tide and it's very shallow, this water here, so as we get it in real close, it's going to be pretty tricky trying to land this. And it's not done. Just let them run, and then when they turn their head around, it's sounding. Oh man. He's coming back this way now, so I think we'll see him soon, boys.
Go with him, boys. Yeah.
He's straight in front of me now. He's changed direction, so he was way out to the right. He's going way left now, so with a bit of luck, we're going to get a good look at it now. So you can feel the weight on the end of this line. Always going to help tail wrap him because he's just going for another run. I'll take a little bit. He's taking a little bit. I can kind of see that line coming in now. It's definitely very weighty. Massive head shakes.
Yeah, it's a bonsai, man.
You reckon?
Yeah, I can see his fin out. Look at him.
Oh yeah, look at.
Nice bonsai.
Yeah, there he is.
Let's see if we can see him.
There he is, boys.
Oh
No, you're coming in.
All right, we're getting a bit closer now, so this is going to be good. So the hardest part here is have to walk out to this sandbar because it's mighty shallow, and I'll tell you what, this is a good shark. It's heavy, boys. Come on. I don't want to go any harder on the drag.
yeah. Yeah, the head shakes of a bonsai, eh?
Oh, look at
Look at that. He jumped out the water.
it. He jumped out then.
Don't put too much tension.
I know, I'm just trying to turn him, man. Oh.
There you go. That's the head shake. That's what you're gaining. That's all right.
Oh, look at those huge splashes. Can you...
Yeah, he's out there. He's gone left. He's come out.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. If he wants to run, let him run. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's fine.
Come on, come this way. Good thing about having these gimbals on is you can use your whole body weight because you're dealing with a very big and powerful animal. And when you've dropped a line out with the drone about 400 meters, you're battling the tide, you're battling the low current, and you're battling the shark. I'll tell you what, it tests every physical part of you. And we're getting close now. Just started to get him back under control here now, and he's coming this way. And I think we might get a good look at him at the moment. Just trying to... We're really hoping it's a big bronzy. Obviously in these waters here, you do get gummy sharks. You don't seem to get huge gummy sharks in these parts. 7-gillers are very, very common, especially this time of year. Especially when the tuna come on, because a lot of the 7-gillers will come on because of the blood from a lot of the tuna catches, especially in the heads and areas between sort of Point Nepean and Sorrento. But bronzies, this is definitely the species that we wanted to catch. So I'm really hoping this is going to be a bronzy. Because this is a tough form of fishing. This is one of the toughest there is in terms of the gear that you need, the rig setups, pretty much everything. And thankfully it stopped raining for a minute because it's been a pretty tough night out here. And come on, he's got to be so close now.
Yep, I can see his fin.
Oh, he's just there. Oh, he's a good fish. He's a good shark. You keep him there?
Yep.
Look at that, eh?
Yeah.
So that is the target species which is pleasing you. So that is a bronze whaler shark. And obviously around here we have caught them up to sort of 3.5 meters. So this is what this style of fishing is all about. It's been absolutely pouring. Thankfully it just stopped raining. But this is the rewards. You got to come out late at night. You got to have the heavy gear. You got to rig up correctly. And this is what it's all about. Beautiful bronze whaler sharks like that. Doesn't get much better than that.
There he goes. Go. Go, you good thing.
There he goes. Look at that. And away he swims away. I am absolutely pumped. That was a massive adrenaline rush. And I tell you what, it's exhausting because obviously you've got a pretty big powerful shark that has taken the bait about 400 meters out. It then went on a massive run, so that's probably 500 or 600 meters out, and then what you're doing is you're just battling in that. And it's really funny because sometimes they come running in really, really fast and you're just there like a maniac winding in. It's tiring, it's exhausting. Now, food for thought is I kayak and I swim here all the time, and I tell you what, when you know there's big sharks out in the water not too far out, that's a scary thought to think of. I'll leave you with that thought. But anyway, we're going to try and rig a few things up and see if we can get into a few more fish. After waiting patiently for an hour and battling through a couple of 7-gillers, we'd had another screaming run. This time, a beautiful bronze whaler shark landed by my good mate Fardy. Well, how cool is that? That is certainly a different experience. It is 4 AM and I think even that is definitely pushing me out of my comfort zone. But there's a bit of a learning phase in terms of this. So getting that SwellPro drone, I probably underestimated that, you know, there is a little bit of a learning curve in terms of being confident to fly a drone of that size. And it's a really good, really powerful device that is going to open up a whole world of possibilities of land-based fishing in terms of what species you can target and how far you can get out of bait. Now, for many years, I've done land-based fishing where you're on the edges of the banks here, you're casting out, and realistically with a really good surf rod and a heavy sinker, you're probably going to be able to cast out 50 or 60 meters tops. This changes everything with that SwellPro drone, being able to drop a bait 300 or 400 meters out, even further if you really, really want to, getting used to that bait dropping functionality, but then even being comfortable with using a lot of these big overhead rods and reels, being able to set up those really big powerful rigs with wire trace and big hooks and big baits, and then obviously battling some big sharks land-based. So it's an awesome experience. As I said, even for experienced anglers like myself, it's great to push the envelope. It's good to get you out of your comfort zone, and I've certainly done that. And I reckon we're going to have some pretty awesome footage in the weeks and months to come, targeting some big fish land-based, using the drone and using some of the overhead gear that we've showed you today. Anyway guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. 4 a.m. It is way past my bedtime, so I'm going to jump into the car, get back home, and I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I look forward to seeing you on the screen sometime soon.